You're at my mercy, boy. I'm so impressed with how recoilless this gun is. Yep, he's out. And I know it's coming. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Oh my. Here, let me get a better tool for that. Damn. Are you serious? That is literally a bad weapon. He couldn't handle me. He couldn't handle the heat. Then you should have stayed out of the kitchen. He tried to counter me, but he knows I had the better weaponry. I spend time and a lot of time manufacturing my weapons. I know how to design things. Excuse me. this works, but it's not as good as other people's. Okay, I saw someone use centrifugal force to spin a bomb bay and like fling it everywhere, fling all the bombs everywhere. A helicopter thing. Cute beagle howling. Oh, beagles. Beagles are just so cute. Oh, beagles! Woo! Doggo. Pitbull versus Killer Chihuahua. And Pitbull's not even like aggressive, it's just saying stop. The Pitbull's like, dude, just stop, please. I just hate chihuahuas.
Are you lying on her? Okay, Colton, now you gotta get off. Oh my goodness. I can't stand.
Baby miniature horse chasing me. I love this video.
What are you doing? Let's go. Look, she's chasing me. She's chasing me.
What a cute little horse. The lightness of her little taps. Or her little taps.
She's chasing me.
Yep, it's she.
Did you see that? She's like, rub my belly. Poor girl like that. What are you, Tommy Lee on the drums or what? Okay.
This guy's about to get attacked by a leopard, and this tiger says, nope. I really want a miniature bulldozer. I will pay good money for a miniature bulldozer. I want to turn it into a makeshift tank. Okay. I'm gonna watch a guy called Connor Pugs. Spoiled brat, he thinks he has superpowers. I love storytime videos like this. It's funny.
Today we got a story time of a spoiled kid who actually believes that he's a god with superpowers, and his mom encourages it. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy story. You won't want to miss it. Let's jump into it. So we're gonna call today's subscriber who submitted the story Ryan. So anyways, Ryan had a spoiled brat little cousin or whatever, and Ryan never saw this part of his family or this side of the family that much. However, he did see them once a year at Thanksgiving. So the spoiled brat little cousin, who we're just going to call Ben for the rest of this video, Ben would always cause issues at Thanksgiving. For example, the year before, like, they didn't have his favorite dessert or whatever, so he literally, like, he almost tried to flip the table that had all like the desserts on them. He like pushed it over, half the desserts slid off and onto the floor and got all destroyed or whatever, and he had to be like taken away. So yeah, the spoiled brat little cousin Ben was definitely notorious for just being like, not just like wanting all the attention, but also just being a little brat, right? And Ryan's aunt, aka Ben's mom, was terrible at dealing with them. She would literally cave into all of his demands.
That's
probably why he became such a spoiled brat, bro. Like a lot of times, these kids aren't really as much.
You're not told no.
Their parents are. But anyways, it was Thanksgiving once again, and Ryan was in the car as his mom and dad drove him up. And Ryan was already complaining to his mom about having just the fact that he had to spend more time with Ben than he wanted to. And Ryan's mom was like Ryan, this is your cousin. You know, at the end of the day,
I hate that. I hate when you're like, I don't want to hang out with him. He's your cousin. Like, okay. He can yeah. Like your cousin could be a serial killer, a freaking child like torturer, and then your family be like, just hang out with him. Like brother, come on. Like I don't want to hang out with this man's. Like I've said no multiple times. Like just please respect my wishes.
Family, like no one else will really be there for you. And in Ryan's head, he's like, dude, I know my little cousin, bro. He will not be there for me. Like that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. My little cousin being there for me, bro. There's a 0% chance that is true. But you know, the overall sentiment that like family will be there for you and you should stick with them. It's a pretty noble sentiment. It's not totally wrong, especially if you have the right family, right? So, you know, Ryan kind of, you know, quieted down. He's like, okay, Ryan, bro, he's talking to himself. He's like, Ryan, it's gonna be like 6 hours. There's gonna be good food. I like everyone else there. So you know what? Let's just get over ourselves. How bad could it possibly be? I mean, obviously, those are like the famous last words right there. And in this case, literally famous last words. Yeah, so anyways, they get there, and someone else in Ryan's family greets him at the door. Not his aunt or his little cousin. And they're like, oh, Ryan, and like Ryan's mom was like, oh, the whatever, family, so glad you can make it. You know, we're waiting for you guys inside. You know, food will be ready in, you know, a couple hours, whatever. How about you come on down and sit down? So they all walk into the aunt's house, and everyone else in the family is sitting in this kind of like the living room type area. And obviously, like, some people were in the kitchen preparing Thanksgiving food, right? And so they're all kind of sitting around, and they're talking. And, you know, Ryan is like, oh, okay, this actually might be pretty good. Because what would happen in previous years is Ryan would be told, okay, all the kids go to the whatever rooms, the adults can talk. Basically, the kids would be ushered out to go, like, sit in another room together. And that would be the worst because there was literally 2 kids there, and one of them was the spoiled... Well, there was 2 kids besides Ryan. And one of the kids was the spoiled brat little cousin, Ben. So it would literally be one cousin who was much older and would be kind of annoyed that he was put in the little kid's room, who would just go on his phone the whole time. And then it would literally just be Ryan and Ben together for hours. So Ryan was already like a little bit like, oh, okay, this actually might not be too bad. Because, okay, well, I guess I won't be the only, like, I won't be forced in a room yet. However, things are about to go downhill pretty quickly. So they're all sitting around there, just like sitting around, you know, couch, whatever, talking about, you know, getting questions about how's middle school, how's skiing, just like normal stuff, right? And that's when Ben, the spoiled brat little cousin, stands up and is like, and he like puts like 2 fingers up to his temples and is like, and like the entire room goes silent, and like Ryan is just like, dude, wait, what? I don't know about you, but if my little cousin, actually I don't have a little cousin, but if I had a little cousin and he just stood up and he started like humming or trying to do like, I don't even know what I would react. I think I would just be like,
yeah, like what?
Is no one else reacting to this? Because everyone else was like dead silent. Like no one was laughing. No one was like, it was really, really weird. Like Ryan genuinely felt uncomfortable in this situation. So that's when the little cousin is like, and he like points at something, and you know, Ryan sees that like his uncle literally like kicks like a pillow over, and everyone in the room's like, wow, and they all start applauding. Ryan is so confused, but for you guys who are also confused, I'll try and explain. Basically, before this, Ryan's aunt had sent a memo out to some of the other guests. I guess not Ryan's mom, but some of the other guests saying that her son believed that he had superpowers and that none of them were allowed to burst his bubble, and that it was extremely important for his self-confidence that he thought he actually had superpowers, which I don't know how that's extremely important to his self-confidence, believing something that just...
he's gonna grow up and be like, realize he's not, be like, wow, you actual traitors.
Yeah, basically when they got there, the kid, like the spoiled kid Ben started like trying to make things levitate, and like the aunt instructed...
Oh my god, I would have a field day with that.
So basically what just happened, or what Ryan just saw, was that was Ben's Omega Blast superpower, where he would like look at something and go kaboom, and the thing would have to move. So obviously, like one of the uncles, like, oh shoot, and he went over and like moved it, and then everyone was laughing because he had superpowers, right? Here's the thing though, no one told Ryan about this, and that's where things are going to get pretty awkward, because no one let Ryan no one told Ryan, right, that he should go along with this. No one explained to Ryan that his little spoiled brat cousin Ben truly believes that he has superpowers, and then he just needs to get over himself and pretend about it. Which is, like, not on Ryan's fault. Like, how is Ryan supposed to know any of this context, dude? Like, it makes literally no sense. But anyways, right, yeah, so sure enough, Ryan is just so confused, because everyone is clapping after his little spoiled brat cousin does like a bunch of sound effects, and then his uncle moves up.
Dude,
like,
I used to.
why is
I
this
think there was a
platform?
point in my life where I used to
And
think I had
the
superpowers.
weirdest
They were
thing
so
yet is
cringy.
that after this happens, they all go back to
I definitely opt for telekinesis if I
nothing just
could.
happened. And Ryan looks at his mom. And remember, Ryan's mom was not informed about this either. Like, Ryan's aunt did not do a good job sending out like the memo to everyone. She must.
I would laugh. I'd have to be removed from the party because I'd laugh.
Because Ryan's mom looked at Ryan with the same look that he looked at her with, which was just kind of like I have no idea what's going on right now. Yeah, so Ryan is just like confused, but since the conversation moved so quickly, like everyone basically just disregarded what happened. They all saw it, clapped, and moved on, right? And so Ryan kind of just let it go. I know this sounds like a really hard thing to just let go, but Ryan was like, okay, this is not worth my time. I'm just gonna let this go. Like, something really weird just happened, but whatever, right? Because the conversation keeps going on. And so at one point, the conversation moves to Ryan. So Ryan's like in 8th grade, and, I don't know, one of his like family members, one of his relatives is like, oh, Ryan, how do you feel about 8th grade? And the thing is, right, this is a terrible thing to do in the spoiled kid's eyes. Because the spoiled brat Ben is super mad that the attention is being moved off of him and put onto Ryan. Because he must have all the attention at all times. So at this point, Ben, right, goes up to Ryan and is like, come here, and Ryan's just like, what? And everyone in the room went silent. And Ryan's aunt is like, Ryan, oh no, you've died. And Ryan's like, bro, what?
I'd be like,
What do you mean I died? She's like, oh yeah, Ryan, you've passed away now. Ryan's just like, okay, either you're having a stroke or I'm having a stroke because something is not adding up here. And Ryan kind of says, no, like I'm still here. You can see Ryan's aunt get visibly uncomfortable. Imagine, right? Imagine you get visibly uncomfortable because you tell someone, oh, by the way, you died, and they say no. Like, bro, what? So Ryan's mom is just like sitting there as confused as Ryan is. And Ryan is like, guys, what's going on? And you can see the spoiled kid Ben is like looking at his hand like, why didn't that murk him, bro? Like, why didn't he die? So spoiled kid Ben goes like, does his like magic spell again, and like Ryan's aunt looks at him angrily and says, Ryan, you just died. Get over it. And Ryan's like, what? Huh? Yeah. So Ryan's mom was like, excuse me for a second. And Ryan's mom grabs Ryan and they walk out of the room. And Ryan's mom looks at Ryan as they're out of earshot and is like, what was that? And Ryan's like, why are you asking me what was that? What even was that? So because look, remember, their perspective, literally all they know is that their little spoiled kid cousin Ben is making weird noises and everyone's like applauding it. And then he goes up to Ryan and makes weird noises, and then the aunt says, oh, by the way, you died, bro. Like, what?
yeah.
So, yeah,
How do you explain that?
So this is when, right, Ryan walks back into the room, and Ryan's mom walks back into the room, and the whole room is looking at them, and Ryan's aunt is looking at them furiously. And it's like, bro, why are you so mad, bro? Like, you just said I died, and I said, no, I didn't. Like, I just disputed the fact that you said I passed away. Huh? Yeah, so the aunt will be secret word of the day, A-U-N-T. You guys need to know how to spell it. Comment that if you made it this far in the video. I always like to see who's made it this far. And by the way, if you want to listen on Spotify to these stories, go to the pinned comment and there's a link to the Spotify. There's also a link to my other channels. I have a Reddit Storytime channel and a meme channel. Please subscribe to both of them. I think you'll enjoy both of them. And let's get right back to it. Yeah, so anyways, Ryan is kind of just existing there. He sits back down, and the spoiled kid is like, how is he alive? How is he alive? And like the aunt is like, no, honey, he's a ghost right now. And Ryan is like, I don't know what's going on. This is the weirdest Thanksgiving that I've ever been a part of, and I don't think I want want to know what's going on. Like, I think I'm just going to be fine existing the way I am. And so the spoiled kid looks at his mom and is like, Mom, does this mean I don't have superpowers anymore?
Yes, Timmy,
She's
you don't
like,
have
"No, no, honey, you're
superpowers.
special. You have superpowers." And when Ryan hears this, he's like,
You know what would be a really great superpower?
"Is it
If he could be
starting to
quiet.
make a little bit of sense now?" He doesn't. Okay, by a little bit of sense, I mean 1% sense from 0% sense instead of like, oh, this makes 100% sense, right? He's still like has no idea what's going on. He's still like, I have no like what is going on right now. But yeah, so his aunt is like, no, buddy, baby, don't worry. Ryan is actually a ghost right now. Your superpowers do work. And Ryan's like, what? First of all, if you're trying to convince your son that he actually has superpowers, first of all, you're a little messed up for that.
That is kind of messed. Like you're manipulating your kid. Like he's gonna have his dreams crushed later
Second
on.
of all, if you're convincing your son he has superpowers and then he uses his like death beam on his cousin because he got a little bit of attention, don't you think that would be, I don't know, a place where you would scold him and not be like, good job murking your cousin with your death beam? Like, bro, what? Yeah, so at this point, some of the other relatives are very noticeably uncomfortable because I think they've kind of just come to the conclusion that maybe this is not the best parenting idea because at the very beginning, okay, so by the way, the spoiled brat little cousin Ben, he's like 10. He's not 6, he's not 3, he's 10. He's starting to grow up, bro.
Yeah, like
he's like not a little fetus right now. Again, he's not the oldest guy ever, but he's not a little fetus, bro. He needs to know about the real world. So they were already a little bit weirded out when they got a message from the aunt saying, play along with it. My son thinks he has superpowers and he needs to for his self-confidence. But then the other family members were really starting to question how good of an idea it was to convince, the little cousin that he could literally just, like, murk people. He could literally kill people with a death ray. And, like, I don't know. It just got a little much. So one of the, like, the uncles is like, I don't know, but not the spoiled kid's father, right? But one of the other uncles is like, oh, like, Suzanne? And we're going to say Suzanne's the name of the aunt, right? Suzanne, I don't know if this is such a good idea. And he's like, I'm the parent. I know what's best for my son. And my son has superpowers. And the spoiled brat Ben is like, I have superpowers. Meow, 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 meow. And Luann, or whatever her name is, right? It's like, oh, Uncle Steve, I'm sorry. You're dead too now. And Uncle Steve's like, I'm not dead. Like, Luann, this is stupid. And at this point, she's like, what did you say about my son? Are you saying he doesn't actually have superpowers? And Ryan just turns to his mom and is like, look, I know our family's a little dysfunctional, but I didn't expect this, bro. So at this point, the spoiled kid Ben kind of just is like, I'm done with everyone, and starts going meow 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 meow. That's basically his like death ray or whatever to literally everyone in the room. And instead of everyone dying as he assumed, they all just started getting really mad, right? Because they know what the death ray is. They know, they've been told that, oh yeah, by the way, this is his death ray, which is a little sus. But everyone in the room starts to be like Luann, like, this is not a good idea. Your son needs to know that like he doesn't have superpowers. And also, if he actually believes that he has superpowers, why did he just death ray me, bro? Like, I think that personally. So at this point, Ryan kind of like leans over to his mom.
Yeah, I kind of get where he's going.
She's like, yeah. And Ryan's like, what on earth is happening right now? His mom's like, son, I actually genuinely have zero idea what the freak is going on right now. So, yeah, that's when someone pops out of the kitchen saying, oh, dinner's ready. And she looks in with this big smile because she's been working on dinner the whole time and expects everyone to be super happy and excited for dinner. And when she looks in, it's just a room full of angry people. And she's like, oh, God. She probably thought that they got in, like, I don't know, brought up politics or brought up some hot-button issue that everyone has a strong opinion on and they're going to disagree. And just something you wouldn't bring up over a family dinner. But she would have never believed that the reason why they were angry was they were arguing over if the spoiled kid actually had death ray powers, and also why did he death ray have the family, bro? Yeah, so that's
Actually, like, what? Come on, man, that's kind of personal.
But it was theirs. Ryan has a very unique family, as you shall see. So they get to dinner, right? They get to the dinner table. Ryan just
It keeps going.
His mom. Spoiled kid Ben sits down right across from him and his aunt. It was just kind of weird tension. And so the kind of like the I don't know what her position was. She was a woman. Maybe she was an aunt. She was probably not to someone. I don't know exactly where she was in the family, but she was in the family. She had been spending the whole time in the kitchen, you know, making this food, right? So she had no idea the context of why it was so tense at the table. She's like, haha, I don't know what happened in there, but let's leave in the living room and let's bring some good energy to the kitchen table. And that's when the spoiled kid Ben is like, meow meow, and points it right at the, like, let's say the aunt that has been working in the kitchen the whole day. And that's when, you know, Luann, his mom, is like, now that's enough from you, Ben. And Ben's like, don't make me do it, Mom. And she's like, you wouldn't dare. And so everyone's kind of looking at each other.
And top 10 anime battles.
Who made the food is like, what, bro? Like, what? And so
Just getting dark on
Literally top 10 anime moments. Top 10 anime fighters.
So Luann's like, you wouldn't dare death ray your own mom. Dude, why, bro? Why is this a thing? You wouldn't dare death ray your own mom. And Ben's like, you're really gonna make me do it, Mom. You're really gonna make me do it. You shouldn't have hid the powers from me for my entire life.
Why is this guy sounding like Cartman?
Half of them are so down with this, they're like, Luann, he doesn't have powers. Don't let him think that. And when the spoiled kid would hear that, he'd be like, oh, you just got death ray. Meow meow. Like, dude, don't you realize that the people are not evaporating? They're literally just sitting there and getting angry. But anyways, the spoiled kid's like, fine, Mom. You've given me no choice. And she's like, you wouldn't dare do it. You wouldn't dare. He's like, meow, meow, meow. And points right at his mom. And he's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I had to do it. At this point, I think at this point, she just got really angry. She's like, you know what, Ben? You don't have superpowers at all. You're just a regular boy like everyone else. And when Ben heard this, he's like, you're just kidding right now, right? Like, yeah, I do have superpowers, right? But, what do you mean I don't have superpowers? I obviously have superpowers. Huh? Mom, I have superpowers, right? I mean, like, earlier today, like, when I moved that into my mind, his mom's like, your uncle obviously moved that. Like, you should have seen it. Ryan is just sitting there like, what the hell? And it's just so tense. Everyone's just like, what? And at this point, he's like, Spook's like, but Mom, I thought I had superpowers. What do you mean I don't have superpowers? No.
He sounds like a really bad version of
You're a
Cartman.
ghost now, because I exploded you with my death ray gun. You're just big, mad, and you're stupid. And she's like, Ben, you do not have superpowers, so shut up and eat your food. And everyone's like, oh my god. He's like, you know what? This is my new superpower move. And he takes the okay, so there's a tablecloth on the Thanksgiving table. And he's like, you are all about to be kaboom. And he takes the tablecloth and rips it. Okay, he doesn't, you know, have you seen those videos, the viral videos of the person who rips the tablecloth so quickly that like everything stays? He did not do that. He took the tablecloth and intentionally used it to whip everything off the table. The entire Thanksgiving meal within 2 seconds was on the floor because the
I'd be so irate.
learned that he doesn't actually have superpowers. So yeah, it's like literally
Coke? I don't really say that, but like Coke.
as everyone looks at all the food that's on the floor.
Dude, I don't really like the Thanksgiving dinners that much. But that would make me sad.
Such a positive attitude, who is all upbeat or whatever, after 10 seconds of silence, says, you two, get out of my house! And points at the aunt in the little spoiled brat Ben. And the aunt's like, he didn't mean to.
No, he destroyed our dinner.
So yeah, sure enough, Ben and the aunt are kicked out, and they have to order pizza on Thanksgiving. It's literally on the floor and unedible. Unedible, I don't freaking know. Yeah, so don't be a spoiled kid, guys.
Spoiled kid destroys the entire zoo. How does he do that? Oh hell no! Oh hell no! Ray-Ban glasses by Meta. That's just literally a way they're inspiring your life, bro. Oh my god.
Story time of a spoiled kid who destroys the entire zoo. Yeah, so the spoiled kid thought that he was an actual genius and an expert at the zoo, and that he knew a lot more than the zookeeper, and let's just say that that is not how it went down. So yeah, leave a like on the video right now to claim your free nothing. Subscribe to the
At least he's being honest.
if you're new, and with that being said, let's just jump right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Kevin. Anyway, so Kevin and his class were going on a school trip to the zoo. This was a trip that, like, the 7th grade always went every single year, so Kevin and his friends were pretty excited.
I miss
Kevin
field
always
trips.
liked
I'll never go on a
to
field
go
trip
with
ever
his
again.
parents, and he just was pretty excited to go with the boys, right? So they're riding over, and as they're riding over, Kevin's sitting with his friend, we'll call him Ben, and the teacher's going around saying, all right, class, we're making it pretty close to the zoo, so I just want to go over a few things. Like, first of all, like, make sure to stick with your buddy. Second of all, remember we have a lunch break at 12, so you'll have to, like, just make sure that you're there for that. And
Okay.
also, finally, do whatever the zookeeper/tour guide tells us to do. We're guests in their house, and they definitely know better than us. So if they tell you to do something, you just got to do it. I really don't care if it doesn't make sense. You just got to do it. A little bit of foreshadowing for later on. But anyways, all these rules made a lot of sense to Kevin, so he was like, yeah, of course. And eventually they pulled up to the zoo. They all got out in kind of a single file line, and the tour guide was waiting for them at the entrance. Anyway, so Kevin and all of his classmates are led over by his teacher. The tour guide's like, hey guys, like, welcome to the so-and-so area zoo. Like, I'm so excited for you guys to be here. My name is Tour Guide Will. My name is Tour Guide Will. You can call me that. And before I let you guys go off into the zoo area, we gotta have a little bit of a safety demonstration beforehand. I promise you it's gonna be nice and quick, so just come on into the visitor center. We'll step over to the side and we'll go over it quickly. So anyways, right at this point, Kevin's pretty excited, and he just kind of goes on into the rest of the class because he knows after this kind of safety demonstration, he's going to be able to go around the zoo and meet all the cool animals. Kevin, though, overhears this kid, who we're going to call the spoiled kid, be like, he's talking to this other kid, be like, well, actually, I am an expert in zoo and everything zoology.
Oh god.
One might say that I'm actually an expert in this field, which, like, bro,
You mean
you're
biology?
an expert in nothing besides maybe Fortnite and, like, fumbling girls. I don't know, bro. But that's at least what I was in 7th grade. I mean, you guys probably know my stories of me in 7th grade, committing the most heinous acts of just the most heinous acts of simp ever, and just the most fumbling of all time. But that's not today's story. That'll be either a special anniversary story or, like, when I hit 1 million subs or something, I'll do a compilation of all my worst moments personally. Anyways, though, yeah, bro, you're not an expert at zoology. Let's be real here. Anyways, right, so they all walk into the auditorium type place, or kind of like the visitor center type place. And so they walk in there, and so the tour guide's like, all right, guys, gather around. We just have to go over something really quick, just the rules you have to follow.
Yeah, because, you know, zoos can be dangerous, because animals.
Your instructor reminded me to tell you that you all gotta be back here at 12. There are big clocks all around the zoo, and you can always ask any ranger or any zoo worker for the time. Just gotta make sure you're back here in this.
I couldn't read a clock until I was in middle school. That's embarrassing.
There's also
Until I was in, like, 6th grade.
that are kind of placed all around. And it'll tell you where you are, and you probably won't be getting lost around here. It's not too big of a zoo as well. Anyways, let's just jump into a few of the safety features. So anyways, right, this is not the first time that Kevin has heard all of these safety instructions before, so he's kind of tuning out a little bit. So he's kind of going through the rules of the park or whatever, so you can't leave the park until everyone does. You can't, like, leave the exit. Well, that might just be a stupid rule. I don't think it's a normal rule. I think you're allowed to leave the park whenever you want if you're, like, a fully functioning adult. However, since they're with the school, the tour guide Will decide to say that. But this is where things got interesting. So tour guide Will is like, all right, guys, so you also might have brought snacks with you. You can also buy snacks here, but a really, really important rule is
don't feed the animals.
Feeding the animals. You guys cannot be feeding the animals in this park.
That's understandable because they can get sick or they can die from what you eat. Like, for example, all animals can't eat chocolate.
You can't do any of that under any circumstances. The only people who are allowed to feed the animals are the park staff here. Is that understood, everyone? Let me hear a I understand, Park Ranger Will. And you hear this kind of mumbling of, I understand, Park Ranger, like all the kids saying it at once, right? But one kid did not say anything. one kid, instead of responding, crossed his arms, and that was the spoiled kid, who is apparently a zoologist. He was an expert in zoo studies. He actually is more knowledgeable than the park ranger and anyone else on the planet. Has not even a speck of knowledge compared to his vast quantity of information stored in his cranium about zoo and zoology. Yeah, so anyways, right, the park ranger Will was about to go on to the next thing. He was going to say whatever that was. Maybe there's just another rule or something, but more maybe he was just about to let them go. But that's when the spoiled kid raises his hand, and the park ranger, not really expecting any questions because it's been pretty straightforward so far, but it's like, yeah, little guy in the back, what's up? And it was the spoiled kid. The spoiled kid says, well, actually, what happens if I want to feed the animals?
They might get
The park
angry. They
ranger's-
could die.
He's not stunned. Like, he's too stunned to speak. Like, he's just like, didn't respond right away because, I don't know. It's kind of
Stupid question.
Like, if your question is, someone says you can't do something, and then you say, well, but what if I want to? Well,
yeah.
probably probably the reason you feed the animals in the first place is because you want to feed the animals. It's not like one of the lions has like a gun to your head, and that's why you're feeding the animals. Like, bro, you're clearly feeding the animals because you want to. So yeah, of course, dude. Like, yeah, I get. Like, of course, that's why you want to do it. So that really wouldn't change anything, man. Oh, like, you can't rob the store. But, officer, I really want to. Oh, well then go ahead. You should have just said that. Like, bro, obviously that's not gonna get you out of it. And what planet, like, literally what planet does that make any sense at all? Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, the subscriber kind of just was like, bro, what? And some of the other kids are, like, not paying attention, but the kids that are paying attention are kind of like, I don't know, I think they're laughing a little bit because it's, like, kind of a funny response, even though they didn't realize the spoiled kid was completely serious in his response. So, yeah. Sure enough, right, the subscribers kind of watches as the park ranger Will is like, oh, well, buddy, I'm sorry, but that doesn't really change the situation here. You see, no one, whether they want to or don't want to, can feed the animals. The only people who can feed the animals at this park are the rangers or anyone or any of the employees here who've been trained properly. And the spoiled kid's like, well, actually, I'd like you to know that I am really knowledgeable in zoo studies, and I believe that I am allowed to feed the animals because of my vast quantity of knowledge. I understand, Mr. Ranger, Will, or whatever, if you don't want to let all the other plebeians, all the other serfs around me, the lessers who do not have the vast quantity of zoo knowledge as I do, if you don't want to let them feed it, I can understand because they might, like, feed the lions wrong, but you gotta understand that I know a thing or two about a thing or two, so I think it's okay if I feed the animals.
Yes, I know. I personally know a lot about radiation, so, well, I'm gonna go eat a piece of uraninite real quick. Be right back. You never see me again because I died from radiation poisoning.
And at this point, the subscriber's, like, literally shaking his head. He's like, bro, what? Yeah, so at this point, the park ranger is kind of just confused of how to go on from here. The park ranger's like, that's really cool that you know a lot about animals. And, you know, I'm sure me or any of the other staff, faculty here would be really happy to talk to you about the animals if you want to. And there's so many animals here. And
that's a great deal.
And interact with, like, petting the zoo type area. But it really doesn't matter how much you know about the animals, man. You really can't be feeding them. And the spoiled kid is like, well, no, what I'm trying to get across to you is that I actually know a lot about the animals, and that is why I should probably be allowed to pet them when I want to. The zookeeper's like, sorry, man, this is kind of my final response. You're not allowed to pet. You're not allowed to feed the animals. The spoiled kid is like, oh, okay, whatever. So yeah, by that response, we can probably tell that the spoiled kid is not gonna be the best listener in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely not gonna be like the number one most attentive rule follower on planet Earth. But anyways, right at this point, subscriber, can we get along with this? Can we get a move on? Like, The spoiled kid is really wasting my zoo time right now because he thinks that he is some genius zoologist, and therefore he should be allowed to to feed the animals. Like, bro, that literally makes no sense, and you know it. Anyways, though, eventually the zookeeper goes over one or two more things. It's like, all right, guys, well, with that all being said, make sure to follow the rules, and that's all I gotta say. So, go on out. So everyone goes on out. You're instructed to kind of stick with your buddy, because they have, like, the buddy system or whatever, which, dude, the buddy system is low-key flawed. Like, if both people, like, you and your buddy don't show up, well, bro, like, which buddy is going to say my buddy isn't here if you're both not there, man? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so anyways, right, sure enough, this subscriber, Kevin, he was going around, and he was all going around with Father Kevin, and they were seeing all the animals, and it was a pretty good time. I mean, Kevin really does enjoy the zoo. He goes there with his family on his own liking, so this was a pretty cool day for him. Unfortunately, yeah, the spoiled kid at some point in the story will end up ruining it, not just for Kevin, not just for Kevin's class, but for everyone at the zoo that day. But you guys will just have to stick around to see how that happens. Anyways, though, so Kevin and his friends are going around to all these different exhibits, and that's when eventually they bump into the spoiled kid, and the spoiled kid is all alone. So the spoiled kid did have a partner, but as you guys can probably already guess, the spoiled kid almost immediately abandoned his partner because his partner couldn't keep up with his sophisticated zoo IQ. His zoo intelligence quotient, it's off the charts. Doctor, it's off the charts. I didn't think this could be possible. I didn't think this could be real. Yeah, so, the spoiled kid kind of is wandering around by himself, which he's already gonna get in trouble for that, but, he might be getting in trouble for a lot more. You just have to stick around and see for that. So anyways, right, sure enough, the subscriber, Kevin. Will is the name of the guy. I forgot his name. Anyway, so yeah, so Will sees this and he kind of looks over at Ben. He's like, yo, dude, right? Because they're just not trying to get involved in the spoiled kid show. Like, he can do what he wants on his own, waste his own time. He can be like an idiot by himself. Bro, it would be a crazy statement to say, like, oh, for us to get involved in your buffoonery too. Like, it would just be a ridiculous thing for Kevin to waste his precious zoo time because he loves the zoo and he never really gets to go. I mean, he gets to go sometimes, but like once or twice a year max. So he's not going to the zoo every weekend, you know. He's not wasting his precious zoo time entertaining the fantasies and buffoonery of freaking the spoiled kid, bro. Like, it just is simply not happening. So anyways, Kevin motions to Ben for them to go the other way, and unfortunately they're too late. The spoiled kid is like, Kevin.
Be like, oh, damn it.
I challenge you to a duel. And Kevin, like, turns around and is like, oh, what? Like, you challenge me to a duel? Like, bro, literally, what are you even saying right now? And the spoiled kid's like, I challenge you to a duel in zoo intelligence. And, you know, here's the thing. Kevin kind of does know a thing or two about the animals, but it doesn't, like, study it. It's not like Kevin goes home every night, opens up his zoology textbook, and just absorbs all the information, literally putting the zoology textbook under his pillow so that he can absorb the information better. Like, dude just casually, like, he casually knows a thing or two, and he just likes hanging out with the animals. Like, he really is just mostly an outdoor kid, and that's why he likes the zoo.
Sorry, I thought I heard something.
Anyway, so Kevin kind of realizes he's not going to get out of this, so he's like, sure, we can do one question. So the kid's like, okay, tell me, is it true that a tiger is a species of fish? So, obviously, Kevin's like, no. The spoiled kid starts laughing. He's like, you simpleton, you fool. A tiger actually is a species of fish. And the subscriber, Kevin's just like, bro, what? Like, what are you saying right now? Like, very.
And Mark Zuckerberg's a human.
Species of fish. Like, I honestly don't know in what world you came to that conclusion, bro. Like, genuinely, I'm so confused right now. So the spoiled kid goes on to say, yes, in my vast studies and research, it is actually a fact that only true zoologists, only 0.01% of
that's cool.
really understand the truth. And that is, tigers are actually a species of fish because of the fish-tiger principle. Yeah, that's it, that's why. So
So, yeah, you lost the duel, buddy. Sorry. You're just kind of a low IQ individual. So at this point, Kevin's just like, okay. And Kevin's actually really happy right now because he thinks that this means that he actually can go away.
Exactly.
And that the spoiled kid can leave him alone and Kevin can go back to enjoying the zoo. But no. The spoiled kid's like, Kevin, where are you going, bro? Come on now. Kevin's like, dude. Kevin's like, hey, man, maybe you should go find your partner. Like, I'm pretty sure Miss Davenport's going to be really upset if you go back in, like, an hour and, you know, you're not with your partner because we all got to be buttoned up with the buddy system. He's like, the buddy system is for low IQ individuals like Miss Davenport and yourself. I am a free thinker, zoologist, PhD, 1000 IQ, top 1% intelligence individual. That is me. I don't know about you, buddy, but I know about me. So, yeah, Kevin's like, I wonder why no one likes this kid. Such a mystery, man. Such a mystery. Anyways, right, so at this point, Kevin and Ben are trying to make an escape. And that's when the spoiled kid is like, Kevin, you want to see something cool? Since I am such an expert zoologist, I will show you
Boom.
what it's like to feed the tigers. This one Kevin's like, yo.
No.
Wait. Yeah, so anyways, the spoiled kid goes on to say, yes, so I've been training and studying the ways of the animals for so long that unlike the zookeeper who is actually, I hate to break this to you guys, also a low IQ individual, actually I am well-trained, well-versed, and honestly I think I'm just best fit for feeding the tigers. So they were near like the tiger exhibit, and so anyways, the spoiled kid reaches into his backpack and pulls out like a granola bar. And to this point, Kevin's like, dude, that was like the one rule. Like the one rule that these zoo people actually cared about was that we don't feed the tigers. Like, bro, if you get caught feeding the tigers, like, we might all get sent home. That's how serious they sounded about it. And the spoiled kid's like, dude, you don't understand. They don't want you guys to feed the tigers. They don't care if I do. He just couldn't say that in front of all you guys because you'd be like mad jealous and stuff. And the subscriber's like, Kevin's like, dude, you're not some genius
Nice tank.
zoologist.
Nice start. Like, for example, for like the first tank, that's actually pretty good.
Also, not feeding the tigers, probably not they're not expertly trained enough to. Probably because they can't just have random people with like liability risk. And probably tigers' diets aren't made up of like crappy granola bars, bro. I don't know how else to say it. At this point, the spoiled kid's like, whoa, I feel a little hostility coming from this side of the room. Like, I get it. Like, I would be kind of mad too if I just wasn't super well versed into, all things animals. I'm kind of an idiot thinking the tigers aren't actually fish. If I was like that, I'd be mad too. In fact, I would just stay in bed all day and sleep all night. So, yeah, I'd be jealous, man. I get it. So at this point, right, Kevin was starting to realize that this kid was actually being serious about feeding the lion this like crusty old granola bar. So Kevin's like, dude, come on, you don't actually do that. And the spoiled kid at this point is like, Kevin, it is so clear to me how jealous you are just because I am expert at zoology. You are, well, how do I say this? Not an expert. And Kevin's like, no, dude, come on. You impress me so much. It would impress me so much if you didn't feed the lion, if you, were restrained on your abilities because you're just so humble. Yeah, as you can see, Kevin is struggling to figure out a good excuse because, like, the normal excuse of, dude, just don't do it is not going to work for this kid. So Kevin's, like, struggling to figure out what he can say to get this kid to stop. He's like, dude, come on, dude, relax. And at this point, Kevin realized he probably can't even get into the lion's cage. Like, we're definitely good. So Kevin's like, oh, bro, like, well, how are you even gonna feed the lion? Because this was like glass, this was not bars. If it was bars, like a barred like cage or whatever, you could definitely slip a granola bar into bars. I think for some like creatures that would be okay, but definitely for like lions, bro, we're not gonna have just little measly bars where you can like little kid could slip his hand in, then it could be a num munching yum time snack for the lions, you know what I mean? So yeah, they had kind of like a glass container, but there was a door, because we did have it. It's like you had to go, someone had to go in eventually, right? So this is where things, it was situationally pretty bad, and I'm pretty sure someone got fired because of this, but there was a zookeeper key card lying on the table.
What?
I cannot be kidding you, bro. It was lying on the table. And Kevin looks over to the table, and he notices it. He makes eye contact. He's like, he kind of just freezes for a second. And that's when the spoiled kid looks at what Kevin's looking at. He's like, oh, well, you don't think I can get in there, Kevin? Well, then why look at my luck? There's a key card right on the table. And Kevin's like, dude, no. Dude, come on. Like, dude, don't do this. Like, you know this is bad. And he's like, Kevin, I don't think this is as bad as I think. I think you're just a little jealous boy. Now watch me as I perform my 10,000 IQ zoology feeding technique. It's actually really, really impressive. So at this point, Kevin turns to his friend Ben. He's like, we gotta get out of here. One, because like, hey bro, if you go into the cage, who even knows? But also just like guilt by association. He's like, I gotta go. And the spoiled kid's like, wait, no. So the spoiled kid really quickly rushes over and hits the key card on the gate, and it like clicks green, meaning that the door unlocks and he can enter. So at this point, Kevin is just like, go. So he starts running. He starts sprinting. He's like, you know what? I hate to be a snitch, but I gotta be a snitch. So Kevin and his friend Ben, they run over, and that's when they try and find a zookeeper or whatever. So they find a zookeeper. Not the zookeeper Will, but just like a random one. And he's like, someone left a key card and the lion cage. And the zookeeper's like, yo, boys, relax. What's going on? And as he says, relax, what's going on, you hear, meep. Attention everyone. We insist that you calmly and orderly go to the nearest exit. So as that's going on, the zookeeper gets not a notification, but a noise that someone's trying to talk in the walkie-talkie, right? So he picks it up, he's talking, and the subscriber watches as the zookeeper's face just goes pale, bro. The zookeeper's face just goes pale. Real quick, you made it this far into the video, I want you to comment zoo down below if you're on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, left a like, and notifications on. And also, if you're listening to this on Spotify, I also post on YouTube. It's actually my main place. But if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you rated the podcast 5 stars. Follow the podcast with notifications on. And also, there's probably a poll question somewhere. Please answer that. And if you're on YouTube, I'm on Spotify, and vice versa. Anyways, so yeah, sure enough, the guy picks up the walkie-talkie, and his face is drops. He looks at the kids, he's like, kids, go to the exit right now. He was being so serious. So at this point, the subscriber, Kevin, is kind of freaking out because all he knows is he left Kevin after he opened up the thing and the lion's nest or whatever, and then all of a sudden, after he ran away for a minute and found a zookeeper, this really ominous alarm, which is still going off. It's still it's still going on right now. It's attention please, may I have your attention please? We ask you calmly and orderly, make your
Can we please have the real Slim Shady?
Whatever, right? That's been going on.
The real one, not the fake one.
So anyways, they all go to they run to the, what is it? The kind of community center or whatever, and they notice that there are two kind of zookeeper, armed zookeeper at the door. They get to the door, which is shut, and they're like, boys, come in. So they open the door and they shut it and basically lock it behind them. So the teacher's in the community center, frantically, looking for people. And she's like, Kevin, Ben, oh my god, okay. All right, you're all now accounted for. So when Kevin hears this, you're all now accounted for. That means that, well, how do I put this, bro? That means that, sorry, I just got a notification from PewDiePie. This kid, that's so wholesome. That's so cute. That's the PewDiePie fan back. Okay, sorry, I'm distracted. Anyways, that means that the spoiled kid in the room as well. Yeah, so anyways, right, Kevin and Ben, they walk up to see the spoiled kid. The spoiled kid is just standing there, dead silent. He's no longer breaking around, bragging about how he has the highest zoo IQ ever, and everyone else is just a little pleb. They don't understand anything because his zoo IQ is actually up the chart. You guys see, it's more of that, bro. Literally more of that. dead silent, looking like he saw a ghost. So Kevin like knew what happened. And yeah, the spoiler kid is not saying anything. And at this point, they kind of realize that, well, probably something bad went down. Like, I think this is a pretty fair assumption to think that just something not good. There's probably a at a minimum, it's fair to assume that there's probably a connection between the spoiled kid entering the lion's cage and then also the alarm sounding 1 minute later, basically telling everyone in the zoo they need to evacuate immediately. Like, odds are there's probably a connection there, you know what I mean? So yeah, sure enough, right, the subscriber realizes that they're not going to get any more information out of the spoiled kid at this point, so they're like, okay, screw it, whatever. And so the subscriber goes over to Ben, and they both walk over to the teacher, who's frantically looking around. Not frantically looking around, all the kids are not accounted for, but frantically, like, on the phone, talking with their supervisor. And so basically, Kevin and his friend start walking around, and everyone's talking, everyone's chatting. You see the doors open up, and, like, random visitors of the zoo or like whatever. And so they're trying to figure it out. And so the subscriber, Kevin, they go up to one group of kids. And one group of kids is like, I overheard what they're saying on the walkie-talkie. Apparently, like, the lion in the zoo got out somehow. That's Kevin just looks over at them. And he's just looking at Ben with that, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. Yeah, so sure enough, right, the subscriber at this point, they put two and two together. The better wait, there's actually no way to caused all of this. Anyways, that's the teacher was like, that circle up there. There's like very on edge. I was being informed that the zoo that I was on, the last person I'm responsible for lion, like not her fault, but it's responsible. So I was pretty on edge as well. Anyways, he said like, right now, we're getting back on the bus. And so, yeah, basically, I think the teacher was partly on the phone to call the bus company and try and get them back as soon as possible because the bus company was not scheduled for them to pick them up for, like, many, many more hours at this point. So anyways, they all go outside and they're all waiting for a little bit. And, the bus isn't just sitting there waiting for them to be their personal chauffeur service. Like,
this looks like such good, like I like that how it, like, dampens the recoil.
However, they were there for a second. So once again,
I like how I can put armor plates around it to make it look like it's not like
completely dead silent. It's like, bro, are you sure you had nothing to do with this? Because they knew at this point that he did. But once again, he just doesn't say a word. He's dead silent. He's not cracking under any circumstances. So anyways, they eventually get on the bus, and it's the craziest bus ride back. Everyone's talking because the rumor, which happens to be true, about the lion getting out, spreading everywhere. People are asking what he did or whatever. Who's not talking to one talented guy who in those situations to maybe explain everything the best. Okay, well that's not happening right now because, well, let's just say that Bro was actually responsible for all of this going down. Anyways, they get back to school and they didn't really have a plan because they weren't going back to school. So it was like supervised recess route. Kevin was great to actually know like they kind of enjoy that. Yeah, so anyways, I have to go, guys. Bye.